Hi, how's it going? I have a story that I'd like to share today. As some of you know, I was away this past weekend attending a dance game tournament. This was the Rocky Mount 15 event happening in North Carolina. I had heard about this from someone I follow online, and it sounded like a whole lot of fun. I have been to dance game tournaments in the past, a distant past, a very long time ago, but none recently. I've been getting much more actively into dance games over the last year. And I thought this sounded like a good way to go meet a bunch of people from the community, see how my skills stack up against them at my current level, and yeah, just have a really good weekend. So, there was another event that was happening a couple of weeks before this one that I meant to go to, but I didn't plan ahead well enough for it, and just didn't end up having time to go. So for this one, I made sure I had my hotel rooms reserved in advance, was able to get away for it. I didn't reserve them quite far enough in advance because... So this event took place at a hotel. I could only book that hotel for one of the 2 nights that I was staying there. I had to stay at another one that was just across the street for the first night, which was fine. It was very close, so that wasn't really a problem. So anyway, I make the 4-hour drive down there on Friday. The event was running from like Friday evening to midday on Sunday. I stayed for most of it. So I go down there. It was a pretty okay drive. Not too hard to do. Very conveniently located for where I am. Anyway, I check into my first hotel and go over to the one where the thing is happening, figure out the room that it's in, and I step in and see... So I took some video of what the room looked like in general. They had 4 beautiful dance machines. They're just really in really good condition. They'd been well cared for. A lot of work had been done on them. So anyway, here's a video of what the room looked like in general. So that was taken on at a time when there weren't actually as many people in the room as there were most of the time. That gets the overall feel for the room. But yeah, imagine that with like probably not twice as many people, but a bunch more people. There were about 50 people there total. It was pretty crowded, very chaotic, lots of noise and activity the whole time. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, real beautiful machines. I got to take a look at them early on when there wasn't as much activity there. I arrived reasonably early. Everybody was supposed to arrive by Friday evening for qualifiers. So they were basically doing qualifiers on Friday. Then the tournament proper ran for all of Saturday and went into Sunday morning a little bit. Anyway, we'll get to the tournament structure and all that stuff in a bit. So yeah, saw some people there. There weren't a lot of people there that I knew when I first walked in, but they were all super friendly, cool people. I sat down and chatted with a few of them, got to know them a little bit. So that was nice. Made some new friends. So I went to change into my dancing clothes and shoes. And yeah, played a little bit on the machines to get a feel for them and warm up a bit. There were some problems. So the machines were great. The room humidity was extremely high. And what happens when a room is humid is that dance pads get very sticky. So I couldn't move my feet the way that I was used to. Everybody there was dealing with the same issue, basically. So it was kind of a universal handicap. But it was definitely a thing that needed to be dealt with. There are a lot of different approaches to this that people take. I got to see firsthand some of the different ways that people deal with it. Some people play in shoes, some people play in socks, some play barefoot. In socks, you'll have the least traction, so you'll be able to slide around better. A lot of people actually used baby powder on the pads. That seems to be the common solution to take a sticky pad and make it much more slippery. I think that kind of makes a big mess. I didn't really like that solution very much. I don't do that myself, but I do like to have some slip. My solution normally is to use spray-on automotive wax, which lasts a little longer than powder. I had to ask them about it and make sure it was okay to use because I didn't want to ruin. Yeah, some people just like the pad sticky. I didn't want to ruin anybody else's experience there, but they said it was fine. I tried it. It helped a little bit. I didn't spray it on too thick because, again, I didn't want to mess things up for other people. Anyway, yeah, so had to deal with the stickiness. I got to warm up a little bit and just sort of get a feel for how things worked in that room because every machine is a little different. I was used to mine here at home. So, yeah, got used to that a little bit. So the guy I follow online, his name is J-Boy. He arrived at this point, and I'd been looking forward to meeting him. So I go say hi, and the two of us finally get to connect in person. So that was super cool. It was really great to meet him. Anyway, so qualifiers started happening around this time. So basically, everybody played specifically picked up. All right, well, let me back up a little bit. So there were two DDR machines and an in the groove machine and a pump it up machine. The tournaments that were going on, there were two different pump it up tournaments, one in the groove tournament. I'm not actually sure what was going on in the DDR half of the room. It was kind of split apart a little bit. Like there were DDR machines over here, in the groove and pump it up over on the other end. The two groups sort of mingled, but didn't entirely. There were definitely a lot of people who just sort of stuck to one side or the other. I stuck to the non-DDR side of the room. I played one round of DDR the whole time I was there, just to sort of remember how it worked, and it was okay, but I like the other games better. Anyway, yeah, so the tournament, I had entered the General in the Groove tournament, which was using the song pack that I had been streaming the previous week. I went through the entire thing, playing each song once, just to get a feel for it. I do wish I had prepared a little more. I'll talk about that later. But anyway, so basically the way the structure worked was, for the In the Groove tournament, there were two qualifier songs that were chosen. Everybody played those two songs, and the scores were recorded for that. That set the seed for the tournament, which basically is where everybody starts in the tournament brackets. I learned a lot about how tournaments are usually run. It's very interesting stuff. Anyway, so I got my qualifiers in, got my seed for that. I was the second person from the bottom. I was not all the way on the bottom. I wasn't sure exactly where I would be. Yeah, so I was not playing very well at all that weekend for a variety of reasons. The weather conditions in the room were a large part of it. And also, I don't know. I just didn't perform as well as I felt like I could have, but it was fine. It was totally okay. Everybody there was cool. I didn't feel bad about losing in any way. So spoilers for how the rest of this goes. Anyway, so I qualify for In the Groove. That was okay. I qualify for Pump It Up. So there were two different Pump It Up tournaments happening. There was a lower division, which was just single 14 to 18s, randomly chosen for each round. Then there was the speed division, which had a much higher upper limit on the song difficulty. I didn't enter that one because I knew I wouldn't do too well in it. I can't reliably pass songs that are at the difficulty that they were playing. Anyway, so I just sort of watched for that one. But I wanted to enter the lower one just to see how I would do. So the qualifier for that was a single song. Almost everyone there got a perfect score on it. I was not one of those people. So, like, yeah, the vast majority of the seeds were ties for a perfect score on the qualifier song. So yeah, people there were extremely good at this. Anyway, so I qualified for those two. The actual matches, well, let me go through the rest of the qualifier day, then I'll talk about how the matches were structured. Yeah, so after qualifiers, I sort of just sat around, watched other people play, talked to people. It was a lot of fun. Just got to see lots of different techniques. Everybody's steps slightly differently, and it's kind of cool to see. So dinner time rolls around. I'm not sure what people are doing. I talked to some people. There's kind of a large group going to Buffalo Wild Wings nearby. Kind of nearby. It was not walking distance, so we had to drive. It was nice to have a car there that I could use. I'm so used to when I travel flying and not having like my own vehicle that I can get around in. It was nice to be able to have a place that's within driving distance so that I could actually, have my own transportation and not have to rely on other people or public transportation or anything. So that was cool. So yeah, we drive out to dinner, have a really good time there. Just get to socialize with those people, get to know what they're like when they're drunk. I can't actually drink for medical reasons. I was never really a heavy drinker, but I sometimes enjoy being around people who drink just because they loosen up and show different aspects of their personality. So I had some fun with that. I got to know J-Boy and his friends and other people who were there a good bit better. So that was cool. It was a pretty late dinner. My eating patterns when I was there were kind of weird. I ate like just a tiny little bit in the morning, then a lot in the evening, then nothing for the rest of the time. And it actually kind of worked. When I'm playing dance games, I like to do them on an empty stomach when I can. So that was the way that I did that. It was strange, but it worked out. Anyways, yeah, so after dinner, we just kind of went back and everybody went to bed. Yep, so in the morning, I had to switch hotels. Since I was staying at one hotel for the first night and a different hotel for the second night, the one that was the actual venue for the event, there was a period of several hours where I didn't have a hotel room since, I had to check out of the first one in the morning and couldn't check into the other one until the afternoon. So that was a little bit awkward, but I realized I didn't really need a hotel room for much while I was there. It was just kind of a place to sleep and to shower, and, to go if I need some privacy for some reason. But I could store stuff in my car, so it wasn't really a problem to not have another place to put stuff. So that was fine. But yeah, during the second day, I was kind of floating around without a hotel room temporarily. Anyway, so second day was the actual tournament happening. I got in kind of early. Matches didn't start for a little bit. But anyway, once those actually started, I had been kind of planning to record at least me playing my matches, but the room turned out to be just way too active and chaotic and people just moving around from place to place constantly. It was just impossible to get a tripod set up in there. And I also was kind of caught off guard with how early I went into my first matches when they started. Because they said, matches are starting. Okay, we need you. Pointing at me. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going now. So I didn't have much time to prepare for that at all. So first match. I think the way they do this, my impression is basically that like the lowest seed in the tournament plays against a much higher seed. Because both of my first matches were against somebody that was just way, way out of my league. Like I had zero chance of winning anything against them. Then my second match in both of them, after I lost those, was against somebody a lot closer to my level. But anyway, so first match was in the groove. I played against a guy who went by the handle V4 Extreme. His name was also Alex. He was really good. He was very friendly. I got to talk to him afterward, get to know him. He was super cool. So for those of you who came to my streams for In the Groove in preparation for this tournament, you saw me play through the entire song pack that was going on here. I need to back up a little bit. So the tournament structure, each match, this was very interesting. The way it worked was they had sort of a card draw system. They would choose, I believe it was 7 random songs from the eligible list of songs, which was fairly large. So they'd have a selection of 7 songs that were the possible songs for that round for each player to play. Then from those 7, there was a process for narrowing it down to 3 that would actually be played for the match. So the higher seeded player got to choose to either protect a song, veto a song, or choose pad side, and a couple of other things. But basically, the flow of it was the two of us would come up to the tournament organizer and look at the list, and whoever was going first would say, protect this song, which basically meant that the other player couldn't take it off the list. Or they could say, take this song off the list. So the strategy would be basically like, you'd protect the songs that you think you'll do particularly well against the other player playing. You'll get rid of the songs that you think you'll do poorly playing. So the worst possible thing happened for me. The song that I most wanted to get off the list came up in my random selections, and my opponent immediately said, protect this song. So he knew that he would be good at that song, and I mean, he didn't know specifically that I would be bad at it, but it just so happened that that was the one that I most wanted gone. And it came up and he protected it, so there was nothing I could do about that. I knew at that point that I would definitely be losing that match. For the rest of them, we went through the process. There was nothing else quite that extreme in there. The first round we played wasn't the bad song. Over the Period was the song. It's actually a DDR song, but it was in this song pack for some reason with a chart that I knew I couldn't pass it, basically. So I didn't want to play it. Anyway, so we get it narrowed down, do the match. I did kind of semi-okay on the first song, which was, I mean, he did much better, of course. Then the second one, I failed about halfway through, so that match went to him. The third one didn't get played because there would have to be a tie for the third one to be played. So that was my first match. Then immediately after that, I got called over to the Pump It Up machine because the matches for that were starting. And I was playing against Brendino. He's a reasonably well-known name. And I knew he was just going to completely crush me because he's extremely good, very consistent, did very well in the tournament overall. The song selections for that one weren't so bad. There was nothing that I really didn't want to play or anything. I just knew that he's way too much better than me for me to have a chance against him. Anyway, so we played. It was cool. We talked a little bit. I didn't end up talking to him very much. I meant to, but just there was too much else going on for me to get around to it. So we basically just talked during a match. Anyway, so that happened. I lost those two matches. And then I was just out for a while. Like my name didn't come back up for like several hours while other people played. So I just kind of sat there and watched people's techniques, figured out who was, who were the better players there. It was actually really interesting to do. Right, during all this, the machines weren't really on free play because they were all in use for the tournament, so I couldn't exactly go off and just play a different game to entertain myself. It was just, the activity was sitting there and watching, which is fine. That was super interesting to do. So yeah, several hours go by. Sometime during that time, I think I check into the hotel that I'm at, get my stuff moved over. Finally, my name comes up again for my second match in the groove. So I was up against a guy named Will. I didn't get his handle or his last name or anything, but anyway, he was actually the first person I had sat down to talk to there, so I'd made friends with him early. He was closer to my level, but still definitely better at the game, more practiced, more prepared. I don't remember which songs we played, but they were, I don't know. Both matches went to him, so he was the victor of that round. Then a little bit later, my second Pump It Up opponent had kind of gone missing for a while, but he showed up eventually. And I was playing against Spaghetti. Jarrett was his name. I actually have a video of this one. So apparently the Pump It Up machine was set up in some crazy way to automatically stream to Twitch whenever it's being played. So I dug up the VOD for this match, found where he and I played together. So I have video for this one a little bit. It's not super great, but it is there. So it's me on the left, him on the right. Here's that video. So yeah, he won both of those matches as expected. I kind of felt okay about my performance here because I was closer in this one than all the others. So yeah, at this point I'm out of the tournament. I lost every match, so I don't have any more that I need to play, which was fine. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I saw the skill level of the players in the room, so I was just I was hungry at this point. I wanted to leave and get some food, so that was finally my opportunity to do that. So I went out and got some food at a place nearby. So yeah, I lost all my matches. Everybody there was better than me, but it was completely okay. I wasn't behind by so much that I felt bad about it for myself, and everybody there was just... No one in any way made the less skilled players, which I guess would include me at this point, feel bad about themselves in any way. Like, I lost and it was completely okay, so that was super cool. Yeah, so got back from the food, watched the matches go on. It was pretty impressive stuff. People were very good at these games. A group photo happened. So here's the photo of everybody there. I counted 49 people in this photo. One person had already left at the time that it was taken, so 50 people there. Yeah, anyway, so that was fun. Another dinner happened. I went out with J-Boy and his friends, and this was a much smaller group, so quieter. We all just sort of wanted something quiet, and went out to a Japanese steakhouse, which was... It was nice. This is the sort of place where they cook your food in front of you and kind of put on a performance doing it. I had been to a place like this once before a while ago, so it was fun to see that again. So anyway, yeah, we just had a nice, quiet dinner. A lot of fun there. I guess before that, so the In the Groove tournament happened and concluded that same day. The lower Pump It Up tournament, I think... No, that one didn't finish until the next day. Yeah, and then the upper Pump It Up tournament, the speed one, had just sort of gotten started that evening. So I got to see a couple of those matches before they had to shut it down for the night because it was just getting too late. I paid a little bit of attention to what was going on in the DDR side of the room, but I wasn't really invested in that tournament, so I don't know what happened over there. But I watched those occasionally. Anyway, yeah, so next day, I was kind of expecting to leave a little earlier than I did. I didn't think this would spill over into Sunday as much as it did. But yeah, Sunday morning they got started again with the upper Pump It Up tournament, so I got to see the really impressive, cool stuff here. I did manage to get a cell phone video, at least, of one song being played by J-Boy. So I got him playing Hardcore of the North. I forget the difficulty. I'm sure you see it on the screen at some point here. But yeah, so here's a cool video of him doing that.
Oh yeah. That was like four. I guarantee no, that's the magic stuff. Okay. Well, yes, like four.
So that wasn't actually one of the finals of the speed tournament. I didn't keep track closely enough to figure out which those were and get them. But yeah, that was still some pretty impressive stuff. He ended up winning that tournament division. I don't remember exactly who the other winners were. It's posted online somewhere. But anyway, so that concluded. There was an award ceremony. Trophies were handed out. It was done pretty quickly. People were kind of leaving around that time, so they were kind of hurrying to wrap it up, I think. But yeah, so I had checked out of my hotel earlier that morning, so I was again without a hotel. This went into, I think I left around 1:30 p.m. or so. Things were still going. They were still open until like 5 p.m. that day, I think. But I wasn't prepared to stay that long. So yeah, after all that happened, I just drove back home and thought about what had happened over the weekend and how much fun I'd had, because this was super cool. This was just a really good experience for me. I felt a strong kinship with the people there. It's very similar to what I felt when I went to the Game Developers Conference, all those times that I went. This was actually the first year that I didn't go to that in like a very long time. I'm going again next year. But anyway, yeah, so it was similar to that, where we all just understood each other on some level, and any two people in there could just sit down, have a really good conversation with each other, and just instantly be friends. So yeah, it was kind of like that. I feel like I could have done way better, could have performed way better with more preparation. I was kind of doing this last minute. Like I said, I went through the entire song pack and played each thing once for the In the Groove tournament. The Pump It Up tournament was on Prime 2. I don't have that version. I have Prime 1 and Infinity. I mostly play Infinity. I did a little bit of practice on Prime 1 just to play a few of the songs and, get a feel for how the game works differently. But yeah, I was not as well prepared as I could have been. I didn't feel like I was performing to the best of my ability. While I was there, three different people actually recognized me for the In the Groove pad that I had built. So that was super cool that, that project was well known enough for so many people there to have known it. So that was very satisfying. Even if I didn't perform super well, at least I was known for one cool thing. Yeah, made lots of good friends, had a super good time. I'll definitely be going to more events like this because this is just a really good time. When I go to them, I'll try to figure out a better video setup so I can get more usable footage for this. I have a lot of things, I learned a lot of things that I need to work on for my own performance with these games. Definitely going to be streaming me playing them as I always do, with a bit more focus on some of the things I know I need to work on. My timing kind of has gone way downhill since I've been focusing on Pump It Up so much. It is true that it kind of destroys your In the Groove timing if you play it too much, just because the windows are just so much looser. So that's one of the big things I need to work on, and just overall consistency. Because yeah, I just was not, again, I wasn't performing to the best of my ability. I feel like I could do better. But yeah, this was a super great experience. I had lots of fun. And yeah, just wanted to share some of what I had done over the weekend. So, I'll see you again sometime. Come to one of my streams if you're interested in seeing dance games at all. I do them reasonably frequently, at least a couple of times a week, usually. Probably going to be more in the foreseeable future than it has been. So yeah, going to be doing a lot of those. Anyway, hope to see you there. See you later.